Sun FM TV, Zambia's first visual radio on air on Topstar Channel 91. Download Sun FM Zambia app and watch live TV. Watch live TV on sunfmzambia.net. Follow us on Twitter at Sun FM Zambia. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch live shows and podcasts. Everyone is not just listening. Now, everyone is watching.
What have you heard in the press today? What have you heard in the press today? Time for press review. Call us on 0212-617140
or send us a message on 0971 555 885.
Press review from 13:30 to 14 hours. What have you heard in the press today?
Lovely good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Press Review on Sun FM Radio and TV. And you're catching us live from our Lusaka studios. And we are broadcasting to you on all our platforms. That's Facebook, TV on Topstar's Channel 91, as well as our frequencies dotted along the line of rail. From Ndola, Kasumbalesa, all the way to Kazungula, you're able to get us on those platforms. And get to interact with us on 0955 855 953 or 076 9122 851. That is the number that you're sending us a text message on, as well as your voice calls on. My name is Victor Mwanza.
My name is Lokonsha Sakala.
Well, we get straight into our first story. Coco, care to do that for us?
Yeah, let's start it off with Chilila-Wombwe District Commissioner Precious Njakwa says smuggling activities in the border town has significantly reduced as a result of intensified operations by the Anti-Smuggling Task Force.
0955 855 953 is the number that you're calling us on. Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister Mlambo Haimbe says he was uncomfortable with the U.S. ambassador to Zambia, Mike Gonzalez, addressing the nation without informing him. 0955 855 953. Good afternoon. Who do we have on the line?
Good afternoon, Coco and Mr. Mwanza.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Who's on the line with us?
Charles Mwape Kasamba.
Mr. Charles Mwape, kindly go ahead, please.
Yes. Now, I send a friend that you play about you to Chilimina, but she is never at you from the right spell, which is she. Number one, the father of Utira, but chief will have other son. Number 11 around, but chief, what we want, Mamaquati, Sherenga, and she shall from what we're not in a Kadesi. Fish up in you too. Who is a professor about 20 years, Sarah Bobuteko. No call for Buteko, the pressure of much fish labor. Momenta un po' messo un chiapparello, se poi lo spiega che la manca un demonciato. If we have any Biaba, you can have a vision that I did, but that's different. Could have river covered. You fish venga da come anticipation. That's why you support the cover. And we start to have a take. So it's shampoo. She on what you want to Valeria. Sarah would take what you take a woman deco. If you feel about to have Freddy Valeria. I mean, I shampoo in a vein. Ngapasa get natural value so we go bomba. Why but want to really take over the first step to take a bomba. No but what of me. Here about what an I don't campaign. I don't to and I don't can take for it. Meaning
coming through, Mr. Mwape, and enjoy the rest of the program. Your 1 minute is up. 0955 855 953 is the number that you're calling us on. UPND member Paul Monga says some people have ganged up against President Hakainde Hichilema because the loopholes of stealing have been curtailed. And Monga says President Hakainde Hichilema is not Jesus Christ, hence he's bound to making mistakes. 0955 855 953. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Victor.
Mkwai. Mkwai twapyunga ngabakonganya pa Mkwai.
Sure. First review, namutatulia nyumba kwa kumusumba walwaisha. Walafi direct eri ashitwa chumpa kuchimoyemo achikwali yabafungwa babutukire. So munani majero mumbale butuka kaya kalala twangwa cyo babutuka.
nomba mma community mumu balea mwana isa musangacha mayanga kwala bokulesa ntwa kanji at least bale vika ko security ya maka no bale vutuka bale pola ba manani ba kawala bale pola maso yao taiye kwa iko so bale vika ko security ya maka.
Thank you very much for coming through. Coco, care to give us a story? Perhaps we have text messages?
The Lusaka City Council, LCC, has seized 27 gambling machines commonly known as bonanzas during a routine patrol and inspection exercise conducted on May 19, 2025 in Kabanana and Garden compounds of Lusaka. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Yo.
We have to let you go. Thank you very much for trying, but make sure that when you're calling us, your radio set or TV set volume is completely turned down, and we'll be more than glad to have these conversations with you on this platform.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Wakoko mabomba sana.
Mkwai mabombeni.
Mkwai sorry bale gasha mataba bale wami amataba pane pale mechongo. So anape kumusibu. Natenda kwa hiyo abafungwa natumpa ku konkora radio abai 19 ababa butitoko awe ri system yishirei ababafungwa ababale butiko mufo balambo kuchita mu mushita pya wane bushaba londa bobe nabasungwa balalala nangu balakolwa nangu balababosha awe basaka mane inchendesha musango umuntu akwata omulando akwira mukati bamupingula noti umuntu abutuka bale bakesa bekire sona amapange aya binomba balambo kishingire kunso kubalezuma mulando wachifukushi uli abali so buteko mubombere kwa abantu abale bombera kunga babutuko uli pa duty fired inchito kupwa abale po inchito bengi sana twatotela muondo bino bakoko
twatotela mayo.
Thank you very much for coming through. More stories?
All right, as we continue, Power Utilities ESCO has disclosed that it used 3.3 billion cubic meters of water from its 13.5 billion cubic meter allocation from the Zambezi River Authority ZRA during the first quarter of 2025. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Barukonsha. Victor, kumabomba sana.
Mayo, mabombeni.
I'm parokira bombo as Veronica.
Ngabakonganya bombo.
Kwa natumwa unyoko Sanya FM paya pia development ne pia ma pia load shedding atara pa mu July paya ndati June kucha July na shi July moya la loke infra isuleta ibadamu aba pose kwa mana bazisulera mwendesha mu buteko to apapata sintu na afiko sabantu ababombera na malaiti bala bomba shani bale time shapya tiara baguno shani aba loke sheko to apapata ribonse.
Thank you very much for coming through, Madam Apalo. Now, Porokoso PF Member of Parliament Brian Mundubile says President Hakainde Hichilema is looking at former President Edgar Lungu as a hero and mentor after confessing that leadership is hard. 0955-855-953 is the number that you're calling us on. Good afternoon. Who do we have on the line?
Afternoon, Mr. Kasanda. How are you?
Well, this is Victor and Lukonsha. Who do we have on the line?
Sorry, Duncan from Chabombo. Mabomba Chan.
I'm Kwaiva Chilu Duncan. Kindly go ahead, please, with your press review.
Former President Alungu, our current President. Apart from much shifia, no kumbe pa mono kumkati topanga chintu chimo no kumbe pantu. Then anga mamona former president bafo bata respect current president aba current president bafo bata respect ba former president ndo kachapa ngapali ifya ya kumbea pamo na opposition of it for pose itipabe kwenda chapa mukana sikwa ba kupange chintu chimo balung banake ba current president pako bati ba kupita kuna ma ya nchi ya Zambia ndo president na ba Nafa bali kwa sasa watu makubombea bantongo mko bati. Babombea pa monomba piba opposition. Ebale kana balungu abene bakana. Baiche bali kwa sasa makubombea bantu. Babombea Zambia. Kama mko kwa taweka pa taweka hizo bantu zile. Kwa kusema mko thank you na tuta mumombe bwana.
Very much for coming through. 0955-855-953 0769122-851 is a number that you're sending us your text message on as well, and we'll be more than glad to accommodate you on your press review. It's 1339. Coco Stories.
Former Lumezi lawmaker Munia Zulu has been sentenced to 9 months imprisonment with hard labor after being found guilty in one count of seditious practices, but the sentence has been suspended for 12 months. Hello, good afternoon.
Mawombeni mkwai varuko maomba chani.
Mkwai mawombeni.
Mkwai. Awe vankokea vakumitiza bombwe. Awe nokulanda kwandi. Yanda pale va president na va former president Saidi Kalungu. Pale kanda kitu danshani cha Afrika la pamu. Mayo kwikala pansi ukonga neso omuntu pale. Alaba former president kebalekana. Ba former president balero lestamuso baba kire. Ile o government ili pressure power. Mukashuo benga wambuko na musemba na ngwaba na bobe. Tetri ya muntu wa murutanyere wasanda sita defense. Tetri. So yali ne basamtire ngero balandiro ko batakika defense. Nomba njame siasa mama kutakika defense. Tetri na totela mkwani.
Thank you very much for coming through. Messages maybe?
All right, so as we continue, we do have a message. Moses Chansa from Chilila Wombwe. My PR is on what I heard on Sun FM Midday News today. Former Kasenengwa MP Sensio Banda has expressed disappointment to President Hakainde Hichilema, who has failed to stick to the campaign promises he made while in opposition. My 10 points plan completely forgotten as if they never mentioned them. With the coming elections next year, we expect my temporary reductions in prices on Business Snapshot. Today, Kwacha has gone back to 27 from 26 Kwacha last week. Let the Ministry of Finance work hard. We are tired of too fake appreciation. Victor, what law under IBA demands that callers or texters should disclose their full names? I have checked. I cannot find one.
All right, well, that is what is stipulated by the IBA, and well, it is actually there, so you need to look a little bit further. And well, this is for a reason of, if you remember, Coco, there was a gentleman who called and he insulted the president then.
Yes.
You remember that, yeah?
Yes.
He didn't mention his name, all right? After that, it was actually advised that when a caller calls a radio station, especially on a platform like this one, you get to give your real name in that. If anything was said and there is an investigation that needs to occur, we will be able to find you.
It also just gets to protect us, the presenters,
Exactly.
because we are the ones who are going to be answerable if anything.
Exactly.
So we just appreciate if you could at least tell us your names, just to give it that mutual respect as well.
Definitely. Good afternoon. Who do we have on the line? Your real name, please. I'm quite a woman. When to render a vena? Ngaba konkanya pomkwai. Mkwai.
Njabo kupenda poini abajisi baliranda kiyo sinodola kunashira bumuna ichifana chabu kubantu na ichifana but mao bisho government wital magola baratisha matraki yabunga so we have a pano atotera mkwai.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming through. You see the respect with the last caller, right? He's given his real name and he's given his opinion. You understand? Mm-hmm. And with if anything was to happen here, they'll be able to say, oh, it's Kantona Kanto wala ndidefi. You understand? It won't be to humfuile pali show yako akoko na Victor. Or tumine adi ni DM. You understand? What does DM mean? People would not know. You know, DM, come on, my guy, I had to use your initials. 0955855953. Now, PF Faction Information and Publicity Chairperson Emmanuel Mwamba says UPND wants to reduce former ruling parties' influence and capacity to mobilize. Mwamba was commenting on the incarceration of Mfuwe, PF Member of Parliament, Maureen Mabonga, who was recently sentenced to 8 months simple imprisonment for seditious. 0955855953. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm quite a woman. When to enter Venava?
Never Judith will come up to the woman.
But Judith, Ngabakon Kanyapomquai.
Okay, first review and everyone crop a show and Nixon Chilango, whatever freeze.
I'm quiet.
Then let me go to the one the natural reaper.
Thank you very much for coming through. Text message or stories?
All right, we do have some more stories as we await some more text messages. China has donated 5,000 HIV test kits for Lusaka province as a first step to helping Zambia address the recent funding cut to the health sector by the United States. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello.
Oh, I could just hear him having a conversation about the president. 0955-855-953. Good afternoon.
Yes, my brother, Mwawomba. You are talking to Mr. Chense, and to me, a friend receipt, popularly known you win the original one. Mkwai, na la tenda koi na chumfa kuyangeni radio ko chufiki ko bati. Mumansa ikifungo cha mumansa bafungwa n'abashetoru shishi ukufuma mu kifungo. Namba uyu musango bati wakizya twali mfire kuna konde twaisa kumansa na kumbyuku ninshirishani n'abafunya kwa mabagraph aya deba ko lyonseri. Inyuzi yachupa bushama abalero ndaba bafungwa irishani n'abanaka n'abakula pa kuti bengisheko abanyamata bako bati bale kugabusa kabusungu nangu chishita shupa abantu abatangwa muri abarapange mirandu yale kararekara so bakupanda muka kwa hivyo na kai community yala chirira so bapote kwa mano then tule umfa prisoner wado wasangirwe kwa at least bafunya point pe kuti bachenjereko bambi indi corruption ile chitika batuwe pe chitika otherwise atutemeni then mukulekereza ni twachumfa barera ndoko bachita kurafuta naye nacho payangeri radio kaprafuta itamu vaiso abantu bari expect yebya arangire gateko kwa.
Thank you very much for coming through. 0955-855-953. Former PF Secretary General Davis Muila says Brian Mundubile was politicking when he suggested that Edgar Lungu can help President Hakainde Hichilema. On Saturday, Mundubile, who is Borokoso PF Member of Parliament, said that President Hakainde Hichilema was now looking at Lungu as a hero and mentor. 0955-855-953. Stories or messages?
Stories. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mulambo Haimbe, says there is no rift between Zambia and the United States following the withdrawal of 1.4 billion kwacha funding to the health sector. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, who's on the line with us?
Yes, Mlenga Boniface from Chingola.
All right, please go ahead.
Yes, here I'm Zolo. Na kairi baba fianita kichumusango wali mfuyo ko bae ko batiyo bafunya po information mamba bale tapota lifundia kale munega kwa tikina kaba pona akabisana amaza lo sana yeye sadisha swali lani kule munega kumoko ile neno kutaire mene wala per example wali mfuyo ko mfu southern province chat saying dog ba president abali po en campaign ushehu ya musango umfu mushi bipaja ile muneka shani shensa disha shi na ngula ina chirifio icyo tweko yoko bati abantu bakwaleza ba president yabike wa United Chalo Kizazana bato imwe mwono ko bati abantu abenyi baleza namukutira aje bamulandi wali conciliation ba forma n'abalise mulandi wako bati kile muneka kwati motina kiremene na kumota kiremene otherwise wapula onkoleso umuntu mulo akola
Thank you very much for coming through. Now, the Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia says it won't offer legal representation to any civil servant who will be found wanting for stealing drugs. 0955-855-953.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
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 Nikusan FM kwa inwantu renda na bena ba? We have to let you go. You need to be sure of where you're calling before you call us and think it's a woman you're calling. 0955-855-953 is the number that you're calling us on. Good afternoon. Who do we have on the line?
Mr. Victor.
Mukwai.
Good afternoon, Madam Coco. Darlington from Ranch.
Mr. Darlington.
Although Ranch to the new for then you're up a canal on Facebook. Yeah. From Radio 2 yesterday, 20 hours, 19 prison break ran away from Mansa Central Police Cell. It was not long time ago, 3 weeks ago. So don't see the Punakondi, number of Afia Chiramasana, 3 I want to be shoot patana. Mafia Shupa Kupanga was underground. It was the Lavi Commission, they shoot over a breaker, so 3 not take underground so that they are breaker. Last year, I people in the future in terms of so please, I then a man so. Because I want to bring him certainly. Now, we are reporting, oh, Mamma, report, so that you are people in the notifications of that. That is my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming through. 0955-855-953 is 1349, and we're still together on your press review. You're coming through on 0955-855-953, and for your text messages, you're sending us those on 07691228851. Today's edition, everybody is reaching us. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mawamben.
To our bomba febu no kwani wantu yanda na bena.
Muranga na wajoni from Chila Bombo.
Banani mkwai?
Kwa John, bale tumina kuchila Bombo.
Ba John, gaba konkanya hapo mkwai.
President yangi. Pamula ndo afeto wa ufile liwale landa. Pamula ni wali reconciliation na wa former president na wa current president. Ili aidishia wana good move. Kuma kwe waji watuwala uwe antanspantansh. Nomba. Sometimes the bosses are mukulenga abantu kukana kwata reconciliation. Fika Bible yala ndo kwa tinga mapusana no munowe. Ile mwa uchane mwa itatu na abantu. Tafio sibadi cheba ba former president wa Rupia Banda. Bali wechile kuna kunganda kuchila bakwate umutenderi ya bapikile. Twali mwene ni possession ya abantu nesho ya tayari uno yimena seka munafu. Futi pakusa ipela instrument of power. Sali mwene kyo mwina nana kirila ale lango kwa chikona sikalo ganta spantas nombo yumukwachi kuibika pale so ile na yena wala mulika ngo mwina fiaro tula baposha wena fiaro bad tamwa kwate ili exchange au badi chikanganya kwa abalipo bakile bana kirila kwa shiri abashiri kuna wena kuna kirila kwa abalipo kwa chakwa ganta spantas nombo yumo kuna kucha kwate kuna kila elo yumo na yena.
John, 0955-855-953. Kariba North Senior Power Station Manager Christopher Singongo says the country should expect a reduction of load shedding hours between July and August with a positive outlook at the Kariba Dam. Singongo said the reservoir's water level have been gradually increasing from 475.77 meters to 477.96 meters, as the total increase of 2.19 meters as opposed to last year. 0955-855-953. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. You want to talk to that one? 0955-855-953 is the number that you're calling us on. This is Press Review, and we'll be sure of what you're calling us for when you call. 0955. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. Who do we have on the line?
The voice of the voices, Mr. Shepard, calling from Dora.
Mr. Shepard, kindly go ahead, please.
Thank you. Yeah, in a press review, therefore, Kuranda personal tune for Kulibaka Fundisha, Abai Democratia, and Amponga Jenny Bayasango, Pevati, the after of Mamma, and Amponga Mana says, but Yadeni, it's more open at you, but then Bakwata, we are Lara Moku, Bakolua. Then you Momo, me Apatoki Minaba, Momukasana, Amponga Ninasia. It is very unfortunate. Uboalua, Quena, Yabutuma. If you condemn every time of what Patama constitutes dying, then at the same time to a company of people who know Queen of Time, Yoko, Rupalumo, Vice, Rafinamukuma, then what Watepa, Wagano, Ubakana, Umopafman for Watimana, Ubuara, Umovin, but sending in the Lamakuwa, Wakata, Yakuya, then Kade for, which is very bad. So, only are complaining about So to me, I think.
Thank you very much for coming through. Do remember, it's only 1 minute that you're given, so you better wrap it up in that 1 minute. Now, Inspector General of Police Grafal Msamba says the police is working to restore and strengthen public trust in the service beyond the election cycle. Speaking at the launch of strengthening and accountability of the Zambia Police Service and ensuring effective security during elections and beyond project on Monday, Msamba said the service was aware of the growing expectation of the public. 0955-855-953 stories.
We do have messages.
Please, let's go on with messages.
that have been coming through. Good afternoon. My press review is from Sun FM News, where Mr. Nagachinda requested the prisons to release Mr. Chilangwa to bury his late wife who passed on in Dola. It is a good request, but laws are supposed to be followed if allowed. It should also be applied to all inmates once they lose their loved ones, not only to selected individuals. Another one again from Sun FM, where Zesco said power will improve by July. Yes, most people think once it rains, it means Kariba is full. Zambians, don't listen to politicians on this matter. If you can go to Kariba and see yourself. Otherwise, Kariba Dam is not like Makoma Dam in Kitwe. It is a big dam where standing on the edge of the lake, you can't see the other side. So, for water to rise just 1 centimeter it will require a lot of water. Imagine from where the rain started, water has only risen by 2.5 meters. So please, let's not trivialize the truth. Water levels are still very low, Mr. Piri in Dola. Good afternoon, Sun FM Radio and TV. I'm Christopher Siame from Dola. My press review is on what I heard on Millennium Radio and the other media houses where it has reported government claims of decreasing commodity prices. While it's true the prices often drop during harvest season, many essential commodities like milling meal and cooking oil haven't shown significant declines yet. We need to see sustained prices and their reductions, not just temporary ones. Additionally, ZESCO's repeated promise to reduce load shedding hours have been delayed. Previously slated for June and now August. Given this, I think it's wide for people, especially small business owners who are heavily affected, to consider solar energy as a reliable solution to mitigate the impact of load shedding on their livelihoods. Work well. Good afternoon, Zambia. Good afternoon, Sun FM Radio and TV. Mine comes from what I heard last morning on Sun FM over the death of Mrs. Chilangwa. My condolences to Chilangwa's family. Go well, Mama. And may your soul rest in eternal peace. Boso Oliver from Chingola.
0955-855-953. Let's squeeze in a call or two and we'll wrap it up. Good afternoon. Well, we lost you. You can call us back and we'll be more than glad to accommodate you on Press Review. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. Who do we have on the line?
Nebo Joseph Ndipino Chingola.
Ba Joseph, ngabako nkanyapa mkwae.
Mkwae abasinungwe iyo batebero kwe bati amaraiti by June zo checking sikachita computer against chibarunda ko July. Mu Zambia muno twaishwe kwe bacha amaraiti ro checking. Ikwato kushupa mu October. Nomba kali October yamaraiti. Pero nomba nisho checking yarapwa muzale pantro checking muna nikari mu October nomba ishupa. So yo kuniambia government vaiteko kwivati vakateko kwevacha maraiti venga naisapo maraiti yakesa ngesapo solution kira kumvya kyamisharipa lero vaisiro kuvumbira so katuishina tote.
Thank you very much for coming through. And well, in a story or two that we have on this platform, Presidential Advisor on Health, Roma Chilengi, says that the drug forensic report has some huge revelations around the weaknesses in the procurement, storage and distribution of medical commodities. 0955-855-953. We can squeeze in one more caller. Good afternoon. Who do we have on Press Review?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, thank you. Who do we have?
Mr. X.
Mr. X, kindly give us your real name.
Yes, Sam Malama.
Sam Malama. Kindly go ahead, Mr. Malama.
My press review, yes, ma. Naparikaremba, Potoa Mayama picture. I'm reading the mass newspaper. Not Manapama picture. I had Garungu, wherever my interviews with South Africa, my treatment. Namba da kushaka batinishite tibachitira feresti so that eba former president wakwata kali batonse na bena ebo beba tebakadinti babo nero bali bakanina kota tabake minini so batonse bakaserese kadinti umbi but why is garingo yana tabaka baro paper code na constitution court of ruling at tabari ndiko kuni weko.
Thank you very much for coming through and enjoy the rest of programming on Sun FM Radio and TV. With those calls as well as press reviews, we definitely come to a close of today's press review. And while you do join us tomorrow on the same time, same place, coming away, we do have our team. My name is Victor Mwanza.
My name is Lukonsia Sakala.
It's good afternoon for now.
This is Sun